This is a sample chapter from Fitton Books. Reunion, Galactic Command series by Robert P. Fitton, Chapter 10. Ross was even more enraged when he saw Saul less than 50 meters away at the end of a long line of armed Zuloff. He was a short, tanned individual in gray army fatigues and a sun insignia on his matching visor cap. The right side of his head was fleshy just under the cap and above the ear. Behind a transparent coating was a gaping area of exposed brain matter interwoven with a pattern of minute red pinpoints. As he got closer, Ross looked directly into Saul's brown eyes. The right eye was elongated and laced with the same red pinpoints. He smoked what looked like a wrapped piece of tobacco and had the same low-pitched, garbled voice from the frequency transmission.
"Not harm you, I have been ordered."
"Where's my family, Saul?" asked Ross, clenching his fists.
"In the domain they are.
A slow smirk covered his ruddy face.
Transformed."
"What? I'll kill you!" Zuloff held him back as he screamed at Saul, but the Cyback half grinned.
"Help me you will,"
he said, his voice resonating as if it were on a bad frequency channel.
"Help, Ross. Help us you will."
"You want me to help you?" Ross stared at the exposed brain area, but it didn't seem to bother Saul. "You hijack my brother's vessel and revac my family, then you bring me here, transform my second-in-command into one of your half-humans?"
"Your tongue you watch."
His leather face tightened.
"Help our operation forward you will."
"Where's my family?"
"Help us you will."
"Who is us? You have collaborators."
"Spoken too much I have."
"I will do nothing to help you nor anyone else. If I get loose, I'll personally choke you to death for what you did to my family. And what the hell have you done to this planet? This was a quiet, Elias sect-oriented society and a mining planet."
"My problem it is not,"
he said, biting down on his cigar.
"On your radio, Galactic Command you will call. Out here, get vessels."
"I'm not doing anything of the sort," said Ross, looking around. He grit his teeth. "Again, where is my family?"
"A place that be secure,"
answered Saul.
"To the vessel you will be brought. Secure they are."
"Why is it I don't believe you? I want to see my family."
"Very good, very good. Exploration commanders I have admired. Yes, a different breed. Help me you will."
"What I want is my family unrevacked and sent back to Earthstar."
"Your father send ship he would, like you."
"Then you have my father, too." "I'm not calling command, nor will ships be sent out here for you to hijack. I can see what you're planning, but who are you working with?"
"See I do,"
said Saul, nodding his head. "What are you doing with big chunks of Caleb's Aurea?"
"Your concern it is not."
"Really? ESS-27 had the Aurea. You're dealing with Revacking, the Antarian, aren't you?"
"Your questions I will not answer."
"The hell is going on here? Polonus experiments gone wild? What are you, some half man, some half Cyback?"
"I am what I am,"
he replied, looking over to one of the guards.
"From the containment cells, bring Commander Ross's family. I am what I am."
Saul motioned more Zuloff around him. A few minutes later, Cappy, stuffed in green military fatigue, stepped into the room. Metal handcuffs ringed his wrists. "Cappy!" cried out Ross next to the Zuloff. "Johnny," said his brother as he was shoved through an open paneled metal door. "He told us he brought in your vessel." "Well, he's a liar is what he is. He said you were revacked." Behind Cappy, Deborah brushed her brown hair off her forehead and sobbed when she saw Ross. Wayne followed Deborah through the doorway. "Don't trust him, John." "Well, I already found that out." Seeing his gray-haired mother, clad in a Zuloff uniform, made Ross crazy. He leaped against the Zuloff, knocked two of them down, but they cracked their rifles into his shoulders and head. They wrestled metal cuffs so hard and cut into his wrists before the cuffs clicked into place. "Mother!" She called out his name as she was brought around the corner. "Johnny!" Ross was stunned when his father walked rigidly into the room. The old man's gray hair was trimmed neatly. He was certain his father was responsible for this debacle and locked into his father's gray eyes before he too went behind the metal door. "You're a damn compulsive liar," cried Ross.
"Believe me now,
said Saul. "Believe me when I tell you I will kill you."
"Release you will. The handcuffs from Commander Ross release you will."
The Zuloff removed a tiny key and inserted it in the lock. His wrists were ripped to the flesh. Saul put a pistol to his head and he was marched to the edge of a metal door. "I thought they were revacked. You have no credibility, Saul."
"Too soon I spoke. Time with him you will spend, Ross."
Ross stared at Saul, followed by his personal guards as he left the room. "Is the Antarian on this planet?" When Saul disappeared, Ross turned and opened the metal door. His family stood next to paned windows overlooking more brick buildings. Ross first embraced his mother. "Mother, are you all right?" "Yes, John. They've done nothing to hurt us." But his sister thrust her arms around him as she cried, "He's inhuman! He's inhuman!" She still clung to Ross as he shook hands with Wayne and Cappy. "Johnny," said Cappy as Deborah stepped back, "he tug-dragged us on our Earthstar approach. Not exactly the reunion we were hoping for, was it?" "No, Cap, it isn't. I thought we'd be relaxing on some beach by now." His father gazed out the window. "What the hell is going on?" Cappy looked at the old man across the room. "I'm not sure. I think the Antarians were involved." "Well, that wouldn't surprise me, but if it's true, we're in great danger and so is Command," answered Ross. "That goon has taken over this planet," said Wayne. He had the old man's penetrating eyes and short nose. "He has the power to merge Polonus circuits with human genetic materials. Right, Dad?" The old man didn't flinch. "Let's not start another fight," said his mother. Ross stepped away from Wayne and ambled as if he were crossing an Explorer spaceship coil bundle. His father's almost hidden profile was silhouetted against the adjacent brick building's facade. He spoke in a whispered, calm voice as Ross approached. "We have several options here, John. Are you aware of the individual we're dealing with here? Reports came in about this individual. We didn't know where he and Silkowski? Very good. I haven't seen you for 2.5 years, Dad. Don't start in with reports," said Ross as he hugged his father's solid body. "Yes, that's true," he answered with a quick smile, and then he pulled Ross aside. "Now you listen to me, John, and you listen closely. Several things are going on here that I haven't mentioned to the family. I knew that you'd show up here, only I didn't think it would be against your will." "Ah, the old weakness. Never show weakness. Never be weak," said Ross, quoting his father. His father stared at him in complete control of his emotions. Then he continued, "You've figured out that Saul's existence was due to a command intelligence project." "Yeah, Intelligentsia, the Pegasus Marischelli." "Exactly," said his father. "Intelligence was attempting to construct replicates for the Polonus aboard systems. And success had been realized. We've been working with Cybacks, and that will be a part of the ESS and other vessel crews." "Cybacks like Saul on my Locust? Great." He fixed his eyes on Ross. "No, not like Saul, but current versions have been successful. The machine out there is a modified version of the faculties on Pegasus Marischelli from 12 years ago. Silkowski panicked when Saul was slated for elimination." "Saul was half man. He was just going to be eliminated?" "Real name, Philip O'Hara. He killed 14 people on Marischelli. Silkowski was the force behind his creation and his friend before the Revacking. He felt responsible for revacking his old friend, even though O'Hara volunteered." "Is this Revacking, the population here, the Elias sect population, a direct result of Intelligentsia?" "Individuals make decisions. Blame can't be placed on entire blocks of power." "Oh, yes, individuals make decisions, but someone in Intelligentsia approved the damn project." The old man didn't respond to that accusation. "This individual escaped 12 years ago." "Ah, great security. I got a mind—" "Let's try and keep our heads. We do have hope here." "Yeah, how's that?" Silkowski was brilliant, but quite an erratic and nonconformist type of individual. Silkowski is part of the team and directly responsible for the science that led to this chamber type. So much has changed since then." "Yeah, and you seem to know all about this." "Yes, the report was in general briefings, available even to ESS commanders." "Did Did you have any indication that Cappy's ship would be tug-dragged? Not directly. Our reports only hinted of something happening out here. But the enhanced tug-drag capacity was not reported even to us. It's ESS-27, the Steve Donaldson's lost ship taken by Revacking and Jack Bragg. I'm aware of that. Ross pressed his lips. In other words, your intelligentsia has exposed us all to this monster because of some intelligentsia plan. The old man turned a second time. No. He looked out the window again. Zuloff swarmed along the narrow streets building debris. Ross heard more distant rumbling. My second in command has been revacked. I'm not happy, Colonel. Not happy at all. Well, I'm sure he understood the risks. Shut up, said Ross, looking over at the rest of his family. You have about as much compassion as Saul. What the hell does he want with us anyways? Ships and drac beams to expand his little fiefdom? The old man seemed unaffected by Ross's insult. Correct. That's the problem. If he's in line with Revacking and has revacking capacity, Command has a severe security problem. The Sigmar terrorist system would face his expansion plans. The base at Conchu. You should have killed Revacking and Bragg when you had the chance. Well, hindsight is very easy, Dad. You weren't there. We were dealing with the Masavic people. And you probably have gathered that Silkowski is on this planet and fighting Saul. Contacting Command with his confirmation is critical. Communication into space is possible with low-band transmitters on the planet or the vessels presently harbored on the landing ship. Command must be alerted to the danger here and take measures to destroy Saul and prepare to fight ESS-27. Yeah, in the meantime, everyone gets turned to stone inside that machine. He'd kill you and all of us if he knows we're attempting to alert Command. Maybe. Ross shook his head, unsure whether his father had orchestrated all of this. How would Saul know an ESS commander and an intelligence officer were going to be on Earthstar? I don't have a theory on that. Oh, you don't? I say ESS-27 is lurking somewhere in this system. That would be my guess. Ross crossed the room back to his family. Wayne looked him in the eye. Well, you got him to talk. That's more than I did. What are we going to do, John? Asked Deborah. I don't know, Shesh, he said, calling her by her childhood name because she looked more like a Cheshire cat when she was a young girl. He's no different than a waste sector rogue, said Cappy. I would think there'd be a way to negotiate with him. He's a cold-blooded killer, no emotions, said Wayne. Revacked human. Don't count on negotiating with him at all, said Ross, turning. His father continued to peer out the window. Mother, we'll get you out of this. Before she could answer, a shrill whistle cut the air. It was followed by a rocking explosion outside, sending everyone to the floor. What the hell is that? Yelled Cappy as he rolled over. The old man was already at the window. A second thunder, farther away this time, brought Zuloffs into the room. Where is Saul? Asked Ross, now on his feet.
You will come with us. With us you will come,
said one of them. They were ordered down an adjacent, darkened stairwell into the basement. Cold, outside air blew through the rotting pipes and chipped concrete. A small, dented truck painted green with brown combat paint was parked at the bottom of a long ramp. The Zuloffs shouted insults and prodded them back into the truck. Ross and Cappy helped the woman inside. Ross was squeezed between two Zuloff and sweat accumulated on his brow, but his father moved to the truck bed with a stunning, serene expression. On some level, Ross respected the coolness. The truck engine started and jolted away from the massive brick Revac building as more bombs shook the ground.
Every damn one of them, get them we will,
yelled Saul as he slid open a panel to the forward cab.
Attack us they won't. Every last one kill I will. To a transmitter you will be brought. Your message out to Galactic Command. And come the vessels they will. We will crush them. Crush them, yes.
He slammed the panel door. I'm not going to let them trap our vessels, said Ross in a low voice. The old man looked at Ross and spoke in a whispering, unwavering, confident voice. Silkowski is the key, John. Ross stroked his chin in the cold air. And Saul wants me to send that message to Command? You can't send his type of message, he said, keeping his voice hushed. We need an emergency distress frequency. This should never have happened. said Ross as the truck veered to the left and continued up the hill. The petrified expression on his mother and Chesh's glassy eyes unnerved him. "We have to go after these Zuloffs now," said his father. Another blast sent the truck careening to the right, overturning like gravity-activated bowling pins in a rec room. Ross and his father kicked the Zuloff weapons. The colonel's kick to the third Zuloff's face sent the Cyback back. Wayne punched the Zuloff next to him as the old man unloaded the archaic weapons into the rest of the guards, killing them instantly. His father pointed the weapon toward the cab, but the truck shifted and he tumbled back. Ross jackknifed over the rear gate, and both men ended up on the cold asphalt. The truck pulled away before the rest of his family could get out. He and the old man shot back at the rubber tires. Air whooshed from the rear tire, but the truck whipped down a side alley. "Damn!" Ross started back, but his father gripped his shoulder. "They're still in the back of that truck." As more Zuloff fired from the hill, the colonel pulled his son by the collar and then pushed him toward the side of the road. They ducked behind a building as Ross ranted. "This is your damn fault. You brought us here." "Let's get out of here now before he calls in additional support to find us." "No, I can't leave them." "John," said his father, holding his shoulders, "these are the facts. We cannot extricate them. Saul and his Zuloff hold them in the truck. I don't like it," he said, "but it is reality. Martha is in there, Wayne, Cappy, and Deborah. We have to leave. We have no choice." "How can you make such snap decisions?" "Reality is reality, now or hours from now." "Ah, so cool. And you have an alternative plan?" "If you do, let's hear it now before they track us down." "I have no plan." Ross wanted to punch the old man as they darted across the alley and jaunted down a narrow passage between the brick buildings. He was amazed that his father, at age 62, could still keep up with him. More bombs exploded up the hill. A continuous cannonade commenced back to the Revack building. Spent powder drifted through the frigid air as a huge granite-faced 5-story building, less than a few hundred meters away, was torn apart by old-style chemical artillery shells. Chunks of the facade collapsed from the inner steel frame. He sprinted with his father as the debris crashed to the ground with enough force to knock them both to the cement. An avalanche of smoke and sand showered them, like an expanding nebula across space. "They'll send in other troops and cordon off the area. His weakness is that he only thinks in one dimension, and he won't assume that we're coming back toward him. That's what we need to do." "Then we have to get everyone out of that truck, Dad," said Ross. "I've already lost my friend, my second in command." "Treat this as a battlefield condition." "Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll try to find my friend and get our family away from that mutant." "Listen, if we can get them out, believe me, we will. Our mission is to get to that transmitter." "Yeah, right." "Get a distress signal out to command. Request 2 Explorer spaceships and 3 smaller backups. Close off the sector up to the shipping lanes. This Cyback needs to be stopped now." "We need space frequencies, not this low-level planetary transmitters out here. We're just 2 men, Colonel." "Then he, or more likely Rafik, will take Conchu. He gathers more and more ships and Revacks in his race of subhumans to Sigma and Taris, and then on to Axie and Baroma and into the command sectors itself." Ross looked into the old man's blue eyes. The old man checked the alley around the corner. "Saul's plans won't happen overnight, but he is a Cyback. He has time. He doesn't age." "And you held all this just to yourself. Typical. You're so typical." More bombs exploded across the city. The sun had dropped behind the long, dark mountains across the Silver Bay. Ross squinted and gripped his rifle. "So where the hell do we go now?" "The airfield. I don't want to be forced inland. The craft you were in, Cappy's ship or my own ship, is capable of alerting command." "And if we can't get to the airfield?" "Then prepare for a long, cold journey."